A game that I have a ton of nostalgic attachment to is New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. I must have been 8 years old when I got my DS Lite, and this is the game that I got with it. This was a throwback to the old school style of Super Mario Bros. Games with the 2D style platforming, the linear A to B level design, and the 8 big diverse worlds with a Bowser fight at the end. It was a great game for legitimizing the Nintendo DS as a platform, showing off smoother animations and better graphics than the GBA was capable of. I can still remember being so blown away by the idea of 3D models being rendered by a handheld video game console like it was nothing. And yeah, I know not everything in the game is a 3D model, but it was still a lot better than whatever the Super Mario Advance series had going on. This game was pretty much the only reason my stupid ass was able to survive 2-hour car rides to and from whatever event we had going on when I was a kid. So you might be wondering, why haven't I talked about any new Super Mario Bros. ROM hacks before? Well, the answer is pretty simple. I didn't feel like it. But today, I guess I do feel like it because I'm talking about it today. And you might be wondering, what could possibly be better than New Super Mario Bros? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Newer Super Mario Bros. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? It's like how the sequel to Alien was Aliens. You don't gotta explain nothing. It's more of the thing that people liked. Imagine if the next Grand Theft Auto game was called Grander Theft Auto. Maybe they actually did do that, but I wouldn't know because I recorded this in November, so GTA 6 still hasn't been announced. Maybe even now it's still not announced. I wouldn't know because I'm not a time traveler, but I just really hope the big announcement they were teasing wasn't something stupid, like the definitive trilogy coming to Netflix, even though that would be hilarious. This is the first new Super Mario Bros. Hack that I've played, so I do not have a very well-researched frame of reference, but I will say that I am very impressed by the scope of the game. There are 8 worlds with 7 to 10 and change individual levels each, which is about on par with the original game. This is a big game. I wasn't sure what to expect, so that was pretty impressive. I was also very pleased with the difficulty level of the game. The real new Super Mario Bros. Titles were refreshingly approachable follow-ups to the old school titles, which, although were definitely not the most difficult games of their time, definitely had a number of moments that made me want to eat the cartridge that contained the game. Newer SMB honors that legacy with very manageable difficulty. It'll hit you with some challenges and some difficulty bumps, but for the most part, it's more engaging than it is frustrating. It's maybe a couple of notches above the base game in its harder moments, but nothing that'll make you want to destroy your own property. I will say that the most annoying levels for me were definitely the Haunted Boo levels, but that's also true of the official titles as well, so I guess that's just part of the fun. Replayability was a big component of what made the original New Super Mario Bros. So cool. Every single level has 3 big coins in it that can be used to unlock bonus items and weapons and pathways that might lead to some interesting secrets. This ROM hack brought those back, which was a very good decision. You can blow through this game in a couple of hours, but there were a lot of things that you're gonna miss on your first playthrough. This is one of those games that you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of. Just the big coins alone are enough to make you want to replay the levels. The puzzles for getting the big coins are engaging without being unusually obtuse, which makes me want to actually try to collect them instead of throwing my hands up and pretending not to care, even though I care immensely. Usually you just gotta use your head. I haven't played the original game in some time, but the new and innovative stuff is still easy to see, and it makes for a more interesting experience. For the most part, it's fundamentally very similar, but it's been rearranged in a noticeably original way, kinda like playing a series of high-level Super Mario Maker levels. They also added in these Yoshi coins, which of course are inspired by the Supreme Mario Whirlwind for the Super Nintendino, which was pretty cool to see. You could even call it Kino. And if that doesn't make sense, my name is Phantom Beano. And if that does make sense, I don't know what kind of thing I'm going here, but the point is, Lossel! There are also these minecart levels, which are a lot of fun. How can you make a 2D platformer without a minecart level? One feature that I think a lot of people will appreciate is the ability to switch to Luigi whenever you start a level. In the original game, you had to load a game as Luigi by holding L. You couldn't just swap in between levels, which is the right way to do it. It's a small thing, but it's a very good thing. One of my favorite power-ups in the original game was the Koopa shell that lets you slide around like a goofy dumbass. This hack not only brought back that power-up, but now you can throw hammers in an arc, which is incredibly useful for hitting enemies and hazards that are just out of reach. It's like a more powerful and strategically viable version of the Fire Flower. Visually speaking, the game is about on par with the original game, but there are some occasionally robust moments like the excess of leaves flying in the wind at the beginning. There's also some occasionally robust locale that looks much unlike anything in the base game, like this sky level where everything has a bright pink complexion. But more importantly than the visuals is the music. Newer SMB is full of tons of musical nods to the older titles, and if you're a longtime Mario fan, you're gonna recognize it pretty quickly. If you are a fan of new Super Mario Bros., you already know you're a fan of newer Super Mario Bros. This is a whole new adventure with a lot of thrills and danger and money and romance. Maybe not romance, but the point is, it's good and I recommend it. But don't forget to tune into tomorrow's video. I won't tell you exactly what the next video is, other than the fact that it's another out-of-season Halloween video. Whenever I do one of those, think of it as a makeup video for October, which is the month where I uploaded like 3 videos because I was too busy eating chocolate. But none of that matters because that's a tomorrow problem. So Merry Christmas!